It's Sunday, early, cold out here. Try not to make this video as long as last week's. Last week I got a negative comment on a group I belong to, and I don't know where it came from, but it really bothered me. I really wasn't going to make a video this week because, one, I'm tired, and two, I still been kind of thinking about it. You know, on the cover of that video, I had a young black gentleman, young black kid, and with a lawnmower, and it said a 14-year-old, if he can do it, basically you can do it. And basically it was about starting your own business or side gig, hustle, whatever you want to call it, okay? And how a guy turned it around into such a negative, nasty, to me it was nasty comments. All right, to you guys that don't know me, I'm Hungarian and Puerto Rican. All right, my wife's African American, so that makes my son mixed. Okay, so I took it personal. All right, because he made some really off color, and I wanted to respond to it, and I didn't. I stopped. You know, you can't feed negativity back with more negativity. You know, remember the book I tell you to read, How to Win Friends and Influence People. So I stopped myself. Later on, someone else jumped in, you know, and really it was fantastic. I don't know the guy, but he jumped in and tore the other guy a new rear end. And then the remarks were all deleted from the moderators or admins of the group the next morning. And I'm very happy they were deleted. You know, the first comment is, all hail and bow down to another king or whatever. I asked no one to bow down to me. You know, there's only one person I bow down to, and it's God, you know. But that's over. So I want to continue this for something else. It's not about the machinery and stuff. It's about me, and it's to help you and a couple things that happened this week. All right? First, let's go over this week. Had kind of two surprises on two different job sites. One yesterday and one midweek. Showed up at one job site. A young man runs a fantastic tree company. Everybody has the most top-notch gear, safety gear, helmets, stuff that we dreamed about having years ago. He runs it in his company. One of the climbers walked up to me, and I was giving the guy a little flack. I said, "Hey, you climbing today or groundman?" And I really didn't recognize him with all the gear on. And he goes, "Adam, you know me, I'm a climber." So I said, "Oh, God, yeah. Anyway, the first few words out of the kid's mouth is, "Hey, I'm 28 days straight." And, you know, some other guys were giving me a little flack about, "Yeah, how long?" Whatever. Truthfully, I told the guy, "I'm really proud of you. I know that's hard to do." And then yesterday, I went to another job site, talking to a guy. He said he wants to branch out from a tree company that he works for and go out on his own. Now, this scenario has happened to me in the last 25 years. A lot of climbers or head guys for other companies say, "I'm going to go out on their own." Being in business for yourself is totally different than working for the other guy. It always looks easier, like the owner's got it. He's raking in all the money and all. The owner carries all the stress. The owner is the one that finds the jobs to keep you working and getting your paycheck to your family. All right, so if you want to branch out or whatever, I suggest you always start part-time and a side gig, a job here and there, and a job here and there, until you see if it's for you, if you could handle it, handle that part of the stress. And I don't care what you're doing, you know, carpentry on the side, handyman stuff, fixing cars. Another guy wrote me, I saw it this morning, he flips equipment. I do too. Do that, flipping car, whatever it is, you know, that's your side gig. Start out in your side gig, never change over to full-time until you feel like you got enough customers to feed you every stinking day. All right? Anyway, so we covered that topic. Now we're back to me. We're going to go back in time to when I was 23 years old. And this is to give you some hope. All right? So let's go on this journey to go back with me. And I'm never bragging, because I did have a lot of ups and downs in life. But I want to show you where, you know, I grew a pair of, cojones when I was 23 years old. And I'm going to take you to this house. All right? I'm 61 years old. We're going to go back to when I was 23 years old. Interest rates on homes were like 14, 16%, something like that. had the opportunity. I was living in an apartment. I was doing well, you know, and I was working automotive at the time. A deal came up with FHA assumable loan. This guy was wanting to go to a new home, and the deal came across my plate, and I won't lie to you, I was scared. Yeah, I was scared because I was going from an apartment rent of $350 a month, something like that. It was a newer apartment complex, very nice, and it was going to be a payment of, with taxes, insurance, all that stuff, closer to like $550, $600 a month. So it's going to be, $100, $150 more a month. And I called my mom, told my mom, said, "Hey, Mom, I got this deal to get a house. Nothing down. I just have to pay for the paperwork to switch it over," which is, under $100 back then for FHA assumable. My mother said, "Are you crazy? Go ahead and do it." And the house was an older home, needed a lot of work. But my mom says, "Hey, you come from a family of, we repaired houses and stuff like that." No, I didn't know anything about how to repair stuff. I knew how to do demo because that was my job in the family as a kid, doing demolition work. As far as putting it back together, I had no clue. But I had my brother that was living here too. He moved down soon after I bought the house. And that's where my asset came in, because my brother he was good at it. Him and I would figure out things together, and you gotta remember, there was no YouTube back then. All there was, you could buy a magazine or textbooks, and you had to look and find people that knew how to do the trades on the side. So let's take a walk back, and I'm gonna go to that house. That's the house from when I was 23 years old. I bought it. Had shiplap siding, an older one, had old windows in it. The porch was falling off. I went in and basically gutted the house and changed everything about it, rewiring. My brother did help me with that. Built a shop behind the house. I used to do auto restoration. It was my first beginning. My son's 23 now, so I hope to start him off. Let me turn this into color. Hold on. There you go. You see, it's back to life. They changed the color of the house. I had it painted a different color, but I'm the one that started the trend. Here's the funny thing about this neighborhood. It's still an old neighborhood. I think the house was built in 1936, something like that. All these houses on this block are basically wood frame cottage style homes. And I'm the one that started the trend of repairing this neighborhood. When I bought this house, there were all the original owners still in the houses, basically. Houses were all dilapidated, falling apart. So I started a trend. I did that one. Then a guy I know, my neighbor, he became friends with me, did that house, built the whole house up, one by one. There used to be two old ladies that lived there. That house was basically falling down. And so I sold this house 9 years later after I finished it. Moved on to another one. I'm going to tell you where my real estate really began. That last house I just showed you, my first house, I bought it for I think 44 or 46,000 at like 14 or 16% interest, like I stated. I owned it for 9 years. I did a lot of repairs to it, and I sold it for I think right around $90,000. So I brought the neighborhood up, the value of the neighborhood up. Now I took the money from that house, paid off the loan. Whatever was left, I went ahead and bought this place. This happens to be a duplex. They're called gingerbreads. They're brick and they have 12-12 pitches. And I did what's known, and nowadays you guys call it house hacking. I lived on one side, rented out the other side. 900 square feet each side. And it's fantastic. Basically the one side paid my whole mortgage. But I paid this place off. Let's see, I bought it when I was about 32, paid it off 10 years later. So I was 42, and this place property was free and clear. But during that time, I only lived here maybe 2 years, and then married my wife, and we bought another home. Well, I kept this one. So this was my experience in rental houses. And there's a university real close, so I always had graduate students living here. And the place was solid as a rock, and I just did little repairs here and there during the years, and then at the end I did some different repairs to it, and I sold it. House sold 2 years ago, so I owned it, I don't know, 20 years, I don't know, yeah, I guess 20 years I owned it or more. And in the first 10 years it was paid off. After that, the last 10 years it was a cash cow. I reached a point of depreciation and it was going to need some more repairs. I did some paint on it and said goodbye to it. And I started another venture in real estate. I'll make that in another video. But this property, I bought it for 60, basically 30,000 each side back then. And I sold it for 175, something like that. And also I had 10 years of total profit milking out of it. The rent slowly went up and up and up and up and up, as all things do. I'm turn around and show it to you. I don't want to disturb anybody, but we pull up here, explain it to you. There it is. It's a beautiful old home. I lived on that side, the right side, and the house next to it here. When I bought it, you couldn't see this house. And look, they're doing a bunch of work to it. And there was another garage. The guy had a garage apartment. He was assistant DA. And anyway, I started the whole neighborhood going up. This one's being totally gutted and redone. Anyway, we'll take you down the road. We'll talk a little more. Hey, so that's the end of the first segment on the real estate part. Got a lot more real estate adventures that I did that I'll show you about, different ways that I made money doing real estate. And I took my money from my side gigs and I would invest it in my real estate to either pay off something real quick or have the money to do the repairs. Stay debt free as much as you can. If you have debt, use your side gig to pay it off. And remember, number one thing, if you're not learning something new every day, you must be dead. So if you get one little bit out of this video, hopefully it helps you, okay? Also, don't try to make big hits, all right? The real estate, I would take the money from the real estate that I made a profit, roll it into the next one. I would never spend the profit. I would always build it. So I had bigger money to where eventually I don't need to borrow money. I just was able to fund these things with cash. It takes a lot of discipline to do that, because you're like, hey, I got enough to buy a brand new truck. Or I could pay for all the repairs on this project with it. Let your money work for you, okay? Your money's got to start becoming worker bees for you, because your body would only last so long that you could do the hard work. Then you're going to have to hire work out. So while you're young, do all the work you can. Whatever you can do on a project yourself, you do it. The clean up, the tear out, the cleaning of the fence line, whatever, you order a dumpster, you do the demo work. It'll save you a ton of money. Contractors don't like to do demo work, and then demo contractors know what kind of work's in there, and it's labor intense, so they charge more. So if you could save that part, which I always did. Hell, I was doing it since I was a kid. So one more thing is, I'm going to put a link in this one of that last video, and I'll also put a link to the one about the 14-year-old kid, the news report about it. Please watch that one. If a 14-year-old kid can have the drive or whatever to start his own little business, you can, all right? And that was the whole purpose behind it. And how I got turned into some hateful thing for comment from someone, I don't know. Maybe that person has a problem with it, okay? So, Once again, I want you to have a great Sunday. I'm going to tell you once again, if you want to succeed in life, surround yourself with positive people. If you surround yourself with negative people, it's very hard, because there's all naysayers. Or we could say a lot of other words about them or whatever, but remember, I surround myself with positive people. We all talk every morning. I go to the gym. I'm around guys that are so damn successful, it's ridiculous. And we all feed off each other. Well, what are you doing? What are you doing? What are you doing? What are you doing? So birds of a feather flock together. I never knew what that saying was when I was a kid. I used to hear it all the time. I didn't know what the hell it was. It means if you hang around with crap, you're going to be crap. If you hang around with positive people or people going someplace, or if you want to be a doctor, hang around people that want to be a doctor. If you want to be people that want to have their own business, hang around people that have their own business. All right? And remember, I don't care if you have a lawn service, if you have a small handyman business. When the family talks about you, oh, he's a handyman, oh, he's this. No, you are now a businessman. Hey, hold your head up high. You're now in business. I don't care if it's a high side small hustle. You are now classified as a businessman. And with that, God bless you. See you next time.